Imagine you are walking down the street performing your daily morning routine on Lunar New Year Day. You're getting ready to celebrate one of the happiest days of the year and to manifest happiness, wealth, success, and peace upon yourself and other people that you care about to last throughout the year. But then you hear a series of gunshots and screams down the street. You run back to your home, praying, hoping, calling 911. The sound of sirens soon fills the surrounding area. And later that day, you scroll through your phone to find out that there had been a mass shooting and others throughout California, and more than 11 victims were killed or injured. Even stranger, the victims were mainly Asian American first-generation immigrants in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. After tragic events or other such events that can cause or trigger trauma, it's especially important to do what we can to take care of our mental health and that of our loved ones, especially during the recovery process. What's up, you guys? I'm Blue, and I'll be the host for today's podcast episode. Our CEO, Paul, has been featured in 3 recent LA Times articles in which he has shared his outlook on the recent mass shootings and given insight into how we can help ourselves or our senior citizens recover from a tragic event such as this one. We all have someone that we care deeply about, and I'm sure many of us would feel deeply saddened if we were to lose them. We would definitely feel lost, angry, or even upset. I know I would if I were to lose any of my loved ones. So this episode will reveal what to do if you guys feel sick, worried, or angry about the recent events that transpired on Lunar New Year or other such tragic events in order to keep your mental health healthy. So let's begin with the importance of awareness. The recent mass shootings affected many people, especially the Asian senior population. And according to what Ondo and contributors stated in LA Times article titled 3 California Mass Shootings Force Grieving Asian Americans to Ask Painful Questions, this generation has been through a lot. And I mean a lot of stuff during their lives, and many of them may be struggling with talking about their traumatic experiences since that was how they've learned to cope with it. And according to what Paul stated at his press conference, many of them escaped their home countries in search of better opportunities and safety, and they found that safe haven within the US. So, when the recent mass shootings occurred, it would serve as no surprise that it served as a shocking trigger for those senior citizens who had to deal with all that trauma that they had just escaped from. And yeah, so they're struggling. Some may go into survival mode after a tragic event such as this one, and others may handle it pretty well, but then break down months later once they receive another trigger reminder. So that's why I think it's super important, especially for us as the younger generation, to realize that having trauma is normal and it takes time to recover. And this process of recovery doesn't apply to just our senior citizens, it also applies to you too. So in the case that you go through a tragic event of your own, it's important to keep in mind that trauma is normal and it does take time to recover, and it's okay to take a lot of time to recover. So now that I've revealed the importance of this issue and the importance of having awareness of this situation and the impact that it may have on our loved ones, I will review to you guys steps that you can take to help yourself or your loved ones. It's also important to realize that such traumatic experiences can be difficult to talk about, especially for those who kind of just got used to the way that they cope with trauma. And it definitely takes time to open up about those particular topics. So when you are helping someone through the recovery process and that someone struggles with opening up, it's better to take it one step at a time, especially when you're helping someone or you're helping yourself on the path to mental health recovery. So the first step that you can definitely take for sure is to check in, and this is probably one of the most important steps to take, especially if you're looking to help yourself or help other people around you on the path to mental health recovery. And the best way to go about checking in on someone who has gone through a traumatic event is to start a conversation, a genuine conversation. Conversations can go a long way in helping yourself or other loved ones healthily recover, and then also give them space to grieve separately if necessary. And according to what Ada Tsang and Karen Garcia wrote in LA Times article titled Asian Seniors Should Keep Dancing and Other Advice on How to Rebuild After a Tragedy, some things to look out for are changes in eating habits, sleep patterns, daily activities, avoiding feelings by downplaying them, minimizing current feelings by comparing to other people's experiences or their past experiences, and physical ailments, which can be a way to express emotional pain or trauma, according to the recent LA Times article. And when you start a conversation with the person that you love or trust, or just checking in on a loved one in general, you want to avoid stigmatizing or labeling their pain. And when you start a conversation, you want to start a conversation that doesn't make them feel like they're being attacked for feeling this way. Avoid using terms like depression, trauma, or therapy, and instead focus on using words like balance or healing, since many Asian cultures are more familiar with holistic health experiences, since that's part of their culture. And essentially, put yourself in the other person's shoes. Help them by giving a sincere listening ear. Honestly, listening is one of the best things that you can do to help another person alleviate his pain and the trauma that he or she is sharing with you. So just listen and don't stigmatize their pain or label their pain, especially when you are talking or discussing or having a conversation with a senior citizen where they may not be used to opening up about that sort of thing. So definitely be patient about it too. Well, that concludes the session for today's episode, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two about how to care for your mental health or that of your loved ones, especially after a tragic or traumatic event. This discussion can be a little bit difficult to talk about, especially if you are the one sharing a traumatic experience or if the other person is sharing their traumatic experience. So it can be tough, but remember, just take it one step at a time. With that said, remember to follow us on our socials at MFPI for All and keep on the lookout for a new episode almost every Tuesday. I hope you guys have a good one and have a great rest of your week. Bye!